Hi guys, Ian here, Ahura Mantra. Sorry, I got gum in my mouth. I'm going to try and park it so I'm not going to be chewing like a cow on the couch through this video. But after my video yesterday about can't even think straight. After my video yesterday about Chokmah, Binah and Da'at, I realised that, well, a couple of things really, where I wasn't clear about some of the things I was saying, and it's probably a consequence of not having prepared properly and written down some notes, because as you know, I'm stream of consciousness person, and I hope that most of the things that I want to say get said, and sometimes they don't. So this is a kind of a follow-up video to that, and it's about my understanding of Da'at really, because I realise I haven't done a video on that. So the first thing I want to say is, for people have sent me some messages and they've said, oh, you know, I really like what you've said in this video because it's quite simple. And firstly, the reason for that is because my understanding of Kabbalah is still simple. I consider myself very much to be a newbie. I don't consider myself to be a scholar or an academic. I read stuff and I research stuff, and then it's what it means to me. And that's the first thing I would say. If you're studying Kabbalah, if you're studying the Tree of Life, it's what it means to you. Yes, there are some established teachings, okay, and I wouldn't advise you to go wildly outside of those, but really your knowing of the Tree of Life and of the Sephira and what they mean is going to be useless to you if it's somebody else's knowing. If it doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't sit comfortably with you, if it doesn't become you. And this is the first thing about Da'at. I believe Da'at is the process by which knowledge and understanding become wisdom within us, and that wisdom is a quality of consciousness. So in your studies of the Kabbalah, right, you must come to your own conclusions. You must read and research. What does that mean to you? And whatever that means to you right now is what it means. But it's going to evolve as knowledge sits within you, as understanding matures. It usually changes to become more and fuller. And again, I think that's another of the Da'at processes, the maturing of knowledge and understanding within us, so that we become more wise. So then, let's get back to Da'at. I was thinking, after I watched my video yesterday, how in many senses, a lot of the things that I was saying about Da'at, I would also say about Hod. Because Hod is the Sephira that represents the crystallization of all of the things that have gone before. Like, for example, when we talk about Netzer, of intuitive, emotional, of all of the conceptual forms that creation would become in the myriad, you know, millions of forms, it was Hod that actually crystallized them into specifics, which could then be transferred to Yesod for building on the astral and for final, you know, manifestation in Malkut. So yeah, Hod is a distilling and a crystallizing and a specifying kind of Sephira. And I was thinking, well, you've said the same things about Da'at, so what do you consider to be different? Now again, this is to me, this is my current understanding. There might be people, learned people, who would say, well, no, that's not what Da'at is at all. But what I'm saying is, that's what it is to me right now. That is my current understanding of this Sephira, or not, depending on your school of thought, whether Da'at is a Sephira. This is what it means to me right now. This is where I am in my journey of learning and experience of Kabbalah. So what then is Da'at to me, and how is it different from Hod? Well, firstly, if you look at the supernals, on a diagram you will often see that the abyss sits just below the supernals, and this is not a physical abyss, it's a conceptual abyss, because what it's trying to convey to us is that the supernals in their pure form are not knowable to us. Excuse me a sec. Are not knowable to us other than by analogy. We can't know them in their pure form because they, like Ein Sof, are outside of our ability to represent to ourselves. We can only represent to ourselves things that we know, things that have come to us through life in manifestation, through our senses, through likening one thing to another. So if we try and understand Keter, Chokmah and Binah, we are using words, we are using terms, we are using concepts that we are borrowing from everyday life, that we are borrowing from our other experiences. So in that sense, Keter, Chokmah and Binah are above the abyss and are not knowable to us in their true and pure form. And the Sephirah below the abyss are knowable to us by analogy and by function in a more, I don't know, accurate isn't the word, but in a way that can make more sense to us, can be likened and is more like things that we know. And often when you see Da'at represented, you don't see it represented, you see it kind of greyed out, or you see dotted lines around it. And I have seen a kind of a diagram of the Tree of Life where Da'at is not, if you think of it as a three-dimensional image, Da'at sits behind the Tree of Life. So if the Tree of Life is flat like that, Da'at sits behind it there. And my understanding now is that Da'at is the Sephirah that enables us to conceptualize spiritual things, because we are living in a physical body, in a physical world, yet we are spiritual beings. So what is it that allows us to join, that allows our physical self to experience our spiritual self, and not only to experience it, but to know something of it, to know something of the spiritual worlds that goes beyond academic theoretical knowledge, that joins intellectual understanding with the experience of spirit, that joins the experience of physical being with the experience of spiritual being. And I believe that is Da'at, that Da'at is relating to knowing within us. And that is different from knowledge. Knowledge is like the tools, if you like, and knowing is the process, the living process. So for me then, Da'at is that which, it's a knowing through communicating, a knowing through joining with. And I remember, I don't know whether I've mentioned this in a video, but you know, like when you see something very beautiful and you get that kind of in your heart, you go, oh, that's so wonderful, a kind of a longing for it. And it's usually because when we experience beauty, it isn't just, we don't just want to see it, we want to hold it, we want to touch it, we want to experience it in its fullness. You know, when you want to touch something, why do you want to touch it? It's because you want to join with it. You want to know it in its absolute fullness. And when we have that experience of knowing in absolute fullness, I believe that is Dart. That is the Dart process. Oops. I'm in a bit of a technical difficulty here with the road cleaner. Sorry about that. Yes, so where was I? Yeah, that's the difference then for me between Hod and Dart. Hod is more to do with the functioning of creation, more to do with the mechanics of it, and Dart is for me more to do with the experience of knowing in fullness. Okay, right, I'm going to stop now because I need to park up, and catch you guys again. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.